And we've seen that it's designed for this.
Give folks that guy's name again.
That guy's name is Jeffrey Dean, and he and his prison buddy, John Elder, who was the cocaine trafficker, ran the ballot plant and wrote software. And they're also a lot of the software that they had developed is now starting to count the mail-in votes and process the sorting and stuff of the mail.
Now, let's be clear. We have elections where the polls keep showing that the anti-establishment candidate's going to win. Magically, they lose. We have Senator Hagel owning his own company, 15 points behind. He's going to lose. He magically wins because he owned the voting machine company that had over 80% of Nebraska votes cast on it. And we have thousands of cases like this with people going to prison. We have cocaine dealers and traffickers and hackers and top crime bosses running everything, and black op companies and former CIA deputy directors running the companies. And I mean, we just have a mafia running things. And it's time for the public to come to grips with this, Bev.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I see is it's such a scary concept that a lot of people reject it outright and just, I can't think about that. You know, they just feel like, because, you know what, it's a one-way road, Alex. Once you see it, you never turn back. You know, nothing ever fools you again.
Now, some people will say, well, then why vote? We have to engage this process and watch it so we can expose it. Look, in 5 years, the majority of Americans in major polls, 85+%, believe there's fraud now by the government and by the corporations. Well, soon it's going to be 99%, and soon we're going to go arrest all these people. Okay? I mean,
you have to engage. Otherwise, you just basically surrender and say, you guys win? What is that? You know, I think the word patriot is appropriate in this day and age, and that's how we have to think of ourselves.
In closing, I want to let you go so you'll be with us in the third hour, Bev Harris.
Yeah.
Quickly, break down for the listeners, explain to them that New Hampshire was advertised as free and fair, though 81% is Diebold. The other is hand-counted, but then they just don't give Ron Paul his votes there. Then it goes through another layer where it's all taken to a central clearinghouse so they can have fun with the goodies.
Well, you know, New Hampshire has one good thing going for it is that any candidate can get a recount. Doesn't matter how far ahead or behind. And it's not very expensive. $67,000 to recount a state isn't too bad. But they take all the ballots. You know, this is just a chain of custody analysis here. And they take all the ballots from all the townships and take them into one central location, which basically centralizes the chain of custody over those. And it's only going to be as good as whoever has access to those ballots while they're awaiting a recount. And the key things that we're looking at there are the potential for ballot substitution. The ballot printers have a very spotty record in terms of their own criminal background sometimes, and that's something that nobody ever looks at. But the ballot printers, we obtained documents from one of the ballot printers showing that they were printing 25% more ballots than they need, and just not delivering them, so they didn't show up in the books, but they were sitting on all these extras.
Bev, every point you've made needs to be put by Kurt Nemo or somebody, by Steve Watson, by Aaron Dykes, one of my writers, together in a chronological order so people get a grasp on this is happening. And literally 9 times out of 10, when you've got fraud going on, you find out it's a coke dealer or a black op, former CIA commander, or a top hacker or an embezzler, and they know what they're doing. So blackboxvoting.org. We'll talk to you coming up in about an hour and 40 minutes for the second update. Bev, I'm going to let you go so you can get back to the important work you're doing. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Blackboxvoting.org. Folks, you have been given absolute breaking news. Okay, it was first reported at ronpaulwarroom.com. A whole family went in and voted in this specific township that we just discussed in New Hampshire. 5 people in the family, they look on the news, no votes. We call the family this morning, they say, look, we're supposed to talk to election officials. They don't want us to talk. By then, Bev Harris has already called the head of the city who's over these operations. That's the township clerk, called a county clerk in most areas of the nation. I guess a parish clerk in Louisiana. And she said, oh, yeah, just an accident. That's what they always do. I remember when Karen Sunleitner, county commissioner, was losing by 10 points. Magically at 2 a.m., the paper admitted she collapsed, started crying. The county clerk goes in, the numbers flip. Double counting ballot boxes, breaking safety seals, falsifying signatures. I went down to the state to try to block certification, and the state board said, yeah, they did all this, but it was an accident. Kind of like if I go rob a bank this afternoon, it's an accident, officers. I went in here with a mask and bags of money over my shoulder with a revolver. It's an accident. Bull. We are armed! We've been talking to the Paul campaign. They say they're confirming these reports. And the township has now reversed itself on the maps, and it's saying Ron Paul did get 31 votes there. If you can believe that. So that is confirmed, ladies and gentlemen. Tell everybody you know to tune in right now to this radio show, whether you're listening on AM or FM, internet, shortwave, satellite. You know, I've got the father of the family coming on who got SWAT teamed to tell you exactly what happened. We're only going to spend about 10 minutes on that now because I want to open the phones up for you to respond. I want to recap this as it develops. Bev may even be back on earlier. As new things happen, you will hear it here first. You will read it first at prisonplanet.com and truthnews.us and ronpaulwarroom.com. We built the war room because we can't stay up 24 hours a day. We don't have the staff, the armies, to give us the tips. Your tips about 90% of the time turn out to be accurate. Folks are doing a great job, every man, woman, and child out there. You gave us this tip. We got on it. Harris got on it. It got out on the web. She made the phone calls from the Ron Paul War Room story, got it up this morning. You are the ones moving the ball. We can't watch every precinct. We can't watch every township, every county, every city. You can. That's how we knew there was all sorts of weird stuff going on at Blacksburg when that happened. And another mass shooting, and the Fed standing down for 4 hours and all the rest of it that the media didn't want to report for months. It's because of you. We had a bunch of students living on campus witnessing it all. We've got people everywhere. God bless you. It is such a responsibility to even be in the shoes I'm in. I'm not worthy of this. I want to tell you right now. For the record, and a new report's going up on prisonplanet.com any minute, ladies and gentlemen. Any minute. It should be up on prisonplanet.com. A new report of everything you just heard Bev Harris say. Now, we already had it up this morning. They didn't count his votes, and that we were saying those are the reports we got. Now they admit it. It's up on prisonplanet.com. Get it out to everybody right now. We're also going to have a report up that Bev Harris is reporting that she's vetting and confirming that just like in all the other cases, we need to add in that report that it's over and over again with Diebold. Cocaine, top smugglers, computer crimes, experts, embezzlers. That's Stalin. Emptied out the prisons. That was his top guys. How do you think they do this? How do you think they operate? This is huge. Then you've just got the circumstantial evidence of Barack Obama, huge double-digit leads against Hillary, magically losing. Magically all the polls being wrong. Baloney. You got Ron Paul getting half the poll numbers in people casting ballots for him that his poll numbers showed, and we even knew those polls were spun against him. Baloney. Baloney. He was tracking second or third place in New Hampshire. By the way, South Carolina has decertified illegal in 40-plus states voting machines that are even worse than these. That's mainstream news out of South Carolina. And you watch, it'll turn out some mob boss, or some top CIA operative runs it. And I remember interviewing the Collier brothers before they died, and of course Victoria Collier, their daughter. I mean, you go into these facilities, it's open CIA. It's open 35-year-old special ops walking around, Uzis underneath their jackets, guys out front in black sedans. It's an armored compound of evil. They run the country. They run the printing of the money. The government runs the smack, the coke, all of it. They run the CPS. They run the private prisons. They rule. And they've got private armies now growing, Blackwater, Merc forces. I'm telling you, the mob. That's all it is the mob. bunch of good old boys got together and said we overthrew a bunch of third world countries, Guatemala, Iran, hundreds. Let's do it here. Yeah, we can do it. There's plenty for all of us. These stupid cattle will never figure it out.